Good morning, buds. Welcome back to Wake Up Wednesday with Nat. I realized that I've been whispering the last couple of episodes. I'm going to try to speak a little bit louder today. I also got my microphone in working order. So hopefully this comes through a little bit clearer today. It's one of those things that happens when you decide, hey, I'm going all in, trial and error. I'm going to experiment until I get this right. So I'm always a fan of just doing the thing before you're ready to do the thing. Learn as you go. Get the skills, get the tools, get the knowledge that you need to do what it is that you want to do. All right, let's put that soapbox aside. I'm so happy to see you here again today. Just quickly, I did want to follow up and check in on how you're feeling from last week. These episodes will not build or stack on top of each other, so don't want that to be the theme here. We're going to have different topics as we continue our journey together in this community, but I did want to check in from last week because I left you with a little bit of an exercise. The exercise was to check in with yourself. If you hadn't done so already, kind of check in with yourself, see how you were feeling, how you were doing. Did you do that? How did it go? How did it feel? I specifically asked you to and challenged you to try and reflect on how you're feeling, but then notice and pay attention to how you're feeling in your body. If you were tight or tense anywhere, if you were feeling any pressure, any pain. So I'm curious, maybe leave a comment below. How did it feel for you? Did it make you fidgety? Did you quickly try to avoid whatever was coming up? Did you learn a lot? Did it really make you think, oh man, that explains why my shoulders have been so tense? I'm very, very curious. We're going to revisit that exercise a lot as we go on, regardless of the topic that we're exploring. Checking in on how we're doing and being honest with ourselves, and also coupling that with how we're feeling in our body is huge. It's huge to let us know really what is going on within us. It's not a superficial, well, I'm just stressed, or I'm busy, or the kids are this, or my husband's that, or oh my gosh, I've got this big deadline at work. It's really, how am I feeling? How am I feeling? Am I remembering to breathe? Am I just shallow breathing and not taking a beat for myself? Am I eating? Am I sleeping? What is going on? And maybe you start to notice that there's a pain somewhere in your body that you hadn't noticed before. I'll give you an example for myself, and this is going to lead us into what we're going to talk about today, which is actually self-love. Before I started my journey, my path to healing, my dark work, whatever you'd like to call it, once I started checking with my body, I started realizing that I was walking around with my shoulders up here by my ears. And I was doing this all the time. And it probably didn't look this exaggerated, if I'm being honest, or somebody that cares and loves me dearly would have mentioned it. But it was definitely a tightness where I wasn't relaxed. My shoulders weren't nice and low. They were constantly hiked up like this. And because I spent so much time at a desk and on a computer, it was like this a lot. So I was doing this all the time, and I was constantly in pain. Once I started checking in with my body and really recognizing that my body shouldn't be tight like that all the time, right? That something didn't make sense. Think about when you might tense up. You might tense up if somebody's coming at you, someone's going to throw something at you. You flinch really quick, but there's a whole body reaction that goes. You kind of move away from it. If you're angry, you might clench your fist. You might get in a stance where you're going to fight. All of those things. There's a tension that happens in your body, and it could happen for a variety of reasons. But I was doing this all the time. And it wasn't until I really started the work that I started to realize that. And on the other side of all of that, I don't remember what that's like anymore. My shoulders are relaxed. I still will carry a lot of tension up here if I'm overly stressed, but my shoulders don't remember how to do this anymore on a regular basis. So a lot of those physical ailments we sometimes feel are due to stress. overwhelm, burnout, a lot of different things that we're holding within us, even if we're angry or sad or upset. And so paying attention to it is the only way we can start to do something about it. And remember, nobody else is to blame. We have to be responsible for our own behaviors, our own actions, thoughts, and really our own life. And so today, another window of opportunity here is going to be what I really just call self-love. And that became a little bit of a cheesy tagline. I feel like a lot of folks were talking about self-love and self-love movement and just positivity. I am not a fan of this flawless movement or, I'm imperfectly me, because I'm a big advocate of we should always be growing. We should always be challenging ourselves, no matter what it is there some area of life that we can improve. If you're flawlessly you, but you're a jerk to every human you come into contact with, I'm sorry, I have no tolerance for you being imperfectly you. And so that's what comes to mind when I think of that whole, hashtag whatever movement, where we're just embracing, everybody's authentic self, and people just haven't done the work. Me being a jerk to people, me being, not kind, not caring, not compassion, and just thinking I can say and do whatever I want to whoever I want is not being an authentic self. And I may even challenge those people to say, if you really are just walking around with that tough facade, underneath that, there's fear and you're scared of something. So you're definitely not tapping into your authentic self. Ooh, I get fired up about that because if you're here and you're part of this community, we're going to continue to talk about self-accountability. And that doesn't always feel good, but I'm telling you right now, the things that happen in our lives, the people we interact with, how we feel walking away from a relationship, whether it's good or bad or indifferent, all of that is our responsibility, no matter what the other person did. Whether the other person handed you $1,000 cash or they punched you in the face, we have to own our part in whatever the interaction was. And so the key here is going to be self-love in its truest form. So let me ask you this. Have you ever looked at yourself in the mirror and said, I love you? Maybe that's too weird. So maybe you looked in the mirror and you said, I love me. To me, the second one's a little weirder. So I like to say, I love you, as if I'm talking to the little person inside me, the little girl inside me, all of the other parts of me that I need to embrace. So I like to say I love you, but that's a hard one. And 5-6 years ago, I couldn't do it. I could not do it. And so I'm curious to know, and that'll be the challenge for this next week, your mission, if you choose to accept it, is to look yourself in the mirror. If possible, try to look yourself, in the eyes, in the mirror. Otherwise, just look at your entire body, and just with being as relaxed as you possibly can be, just try to say that you love yourself, whatever way feels good for you. You could say your name after it. You could say, I love you, Nat, or I really love me. I really love all the parts of me. This one takes a lot of people down. They either have a very difficult time saying it, or it'll well up some emotion, maybe some tears, maybe some sadness, whatever comes up for you in that moment, if you're able to do it. And even if you're not, probably even better if you try and you just can't. This is how exciting it is. I'm getting chills. Is to guess what? Is to notice how you're feeling in that moment. Notice if there's something kind of bubbling up below the surface that you're quickly trying to shut back down. Maybe you know what it is, maybe you don't. But just try to notice. A lot of our feelings of inadequacy or unworthiness come from not feeling loved. And that could come from a lot of different places. So feelings of unworthiness could be due to the way we were raised, things our parents said to us. Maybe we were in a household where our parents just expected straight A's all the time, and they were only pleased with you when you brought home straight A's. And the first time you got a B, it was bad. You got the looks of disapproval, and that took a ding on you. Maybe it was the complete opposite. There were generations that believed that children should be seen and not heard. So maybe you had a parent that wanted you to be seen and not heard. So you weren't allowed to talk about your interests, or you weren't allowed to voice your opinions or express yourself. You had to just sit and be polite and be quiet. And when company came over, you needed to make yourself scarce and you couldn't be seen. And one of our deepest values is needing to be seen and heard. And so a lot of different things can cause it. So not just bashing on parents here, not just bashing on parents here at all. And it's really not to bash on them, because I believe parents did the best that they could, especially based on their own experiences being raised and even resources that they had at their disposal. But it could happen at work. It could happen through school. Our education system is known for this. How do we measure our worthiness? By how smart we are? Okay, well, how do schools measure how smart we are? Grades, test scores. And if you're not performing and you're not meeting that mark, then what does that mean about you? And so we go throughout life kind of over and over and over again, maybe it's promotions at work, somebody else got it over you. And what does that mean? Am I inadequate in some way? And so, oh my gosh, just social media. Social media is a big one. We've been told for decades now how, what we should wear, how we should look. And if we don't meet certain criteria, we don't fit into this box, then we aren't worthy. So the messaging is there wherever you're getting it from. I'm not going to say that it's good or bad, but just know that it's been reinforced. And since we were a kid, it's been reinforced. So there's parts of us that are wounded by that. And that part of us needs to know that they're loved and that they deserve space in the world. That we, as we're showing up today, deserve space in the world. We deserve to take up space. It's our right to be here. It's our right to be loved. We deserve to be cared for. We deserve to be respected. And it's only when we believe those things about ourselves enough to value ourselves for it that we can expect that other people will treat us in that way. So a lot of times we don't pay attention to this. We're busy telling everybody else how much we love them, our husbands, our mothers, our children, our grandchildren, whatever it is, our animals. And we aren't saying it enough to ourselves. We don't thank ourselves. We don't keep commitments to ourselves. Don't get me started on all things that we don't do for ourselves, but we'll do whatever. We'll take a day off. We'll call in sick to go help a buddy up the street that's stuck. But for us, if it's up to us to go do something, well, we're too busy. We have a packed schedule. There's no room. All of these things are reinforcing that we feel unworthy and that we're not enough and that we don't have a right to take up space in the world. So I'd like to start with that. Let's just start with that. I think that is probably a lot to bite off and chew, but I'm mostly curious on how it feels for you when you stand in front of the mirror. Can you, without judgment, with just grace and compassion, maybe like you would to a best friend, a loved one, or your child, tell yourself that you love you. I love me. And see what comes up for you. See what comes up for you. Take a moment to feel it. Take a moment to think about it. Write it down if you can. We've got to be able to look at ourselves and tell us that we love ourselves. In a non-braggadocious way, in a non-superficial way, I'm the best, I'm awesome, look at me. But really, deep down inside, that we love ourselves. Loving ourselves also requires us to forgive ourselves, and that's a big one. Forgiving ourselves can be very, very challenging. It can be difficult. Some of us, if you're anything like me, we tend to spend a lot of time in the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, and that doesn't solve anything. To just play over and over that situation with an ex, or the situation at work of where I should have said this, or I could have said that, or why didn't I? We have to forgive. We have to forgive our past selves. That version of you did the best that they could, right? If you could have done better or differently, wouldn't you have chosen a different answer or a different path or a different partner? The situations we were in were what we thought was best for us at the time. And now that we're looking back, we have to accept it. We have to acknowledge it, and we have to forgive it. We have to forgive it. And that's going to be step 2. I have so much optimism here and so much hope that when you do this, you can do both of the exercises together. But look in the mirror, tell yourself that you love you, and forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for holding on to past mistakes, for holding grudges against you, for whatever might come up. If you say the words, I forgive me, or I forgive you, something will come up. See what comes up for you. You don't have to share it with anybody. But all of this is getting us to start noticing and start acknowledging and start taking action toward doing the tough work. This one alone may knock you to your knees, but I promise you, it will be worth it. Only after we love ourselves can we love others. I mean, truly love others. And I know what you're thinking. If you have kids, you're going to say, well, I really, truly love my kids. Yes. And I would challenge you to also reflect on, are there times where maybe the love does feel a little bit conditional on whether they're being good that day, or whether you expect them to be a great gymnast or soccer player or whatever the case is. We have to accept ourselves at our worst, at our best, all of it. And we have to forgive ourselves. It's liberating. So I'm excited to see what comes up for you over the next week. Do it daily if you can. If that feels like too much, do what you can. But remember, we have to stand in front of the mirror every day to get ready for work, for school, for wherever you're going to go. We brush our teeth in front of the mirror. It just takes a couple extra seconds to look at yourself and say, I love you. I love you. I love you. And I forgive you for whatever comes up in that moment. Know that I care about you. Know that I see you and I believe in you, and I'm going to continue to be here. I share my experience to show you that it is possible, to show you what coming out of that darkness can look like, what you can do. I do it from a place of demonstration. I do it to show an example. I still have my own work to do, and I can't wait for my future as I continue to heal. And I'm so excited to hear from you on what you find unfolding for yourself. Thanks for being here today. It's good to see you. I hope you have a great week. And remember, even if you don't, this too shall pass. Whatever it is that you're facing, you're still breathing. So hold on to that breath, and I'll see you next week. Okay, bye.